Coming up next on the SPNN Forum, I'm speaking with Chad Kampe of the Mid-Continent Oceanographic Institute. That's coming up next on the SPNN Forum. Chad, welcome to the SPNN Forum.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Well, we met I think it was on the corner of University and Raymond at some point as you started this work with the Mid-Continent Oceanographic Institute. But tell us, what is the origin story of the Mid-Continent Oceanographic Institute?
Yeah, no, the name is a mouthful, but the organization started in 2009 as Rockstar Supply Co. And it started with a group of graduates who wanted to make a difference in the Twin Cities. So they started working together and they said the achievement gap is one of the largest in the Twin Cities. So they figured out, what can we do to help? And they saw in other cities that the 826 network, they're a network of nonprofits that are creative writing and tutoring centers, are making differences in 8 other cities. So they said, we really want to have that here in St. Paul. So they came together, they all had full-time jobs, and they said, what can we do on top of our full-time jobs to help? So they started volunteering in different schools. They started in St. Paul at Como Park High School. At Como Park High School, they worked with a teacher there and helped the teacher with classes where students were failing 3 or more subjects.
Wow,
Yeah.
3 or more subjects failing.
Failing.
Oh my goodness, that's really a daunting. So they were not shy about, they felt confident that they could go in and make a difference?
Right.
With that kind of daunting
They
numbers?
figured that this teacher was assigned a class where students were failing, and they figured that having one-on-one support to these students will help these students succeed. So they started calling all their friends and family and said, hey, we want to make a difference, and they started coming to the different classrooms. They ended up going into Minneapolis as well, to Roosevelt High School and a few other high schools where we had the mini packs of people going into the classroom to support the teacher. As a teacher, I know when you have a classroom full of students, you need all the support you can get.
Yeah.
So having a group of adults come in once a week, twice a week to help make the students' lives better really helped.
So was it up to the teacher to be prepared for the tutor, or does the tutor need to be prepared themselves to work?
So the way how these classes were, these students were having a hard time. So they were bringing homework from their other classes to work on during this time. So the tutors sat with the students and were able to go through the homework with them. So the teacher really didn't have to do as much planning because the tutor could work with the students to figure out what they need to do to be successful. And it worked. That one of our teachers who we still work with now really says that every Friday that our tutors come in, the students look forward to the one-on-one attention they get, and it's helping students be successful in the class and get out of the class.
Fabulous. Well, we know that everybody needs help with a challenge at any time. You've decided to go ahead and also open a storefront. So you've got multiple things going on right now.
Right.
You've got this storefront at the corner of University and Raymond. How did you go about deciding to open up a place where people could drop in?
Right, so the 826 model that we're based off of, they do a variety of things. And one of the things they do is have a free homework help center Monday through Friday. And so we want to become an 826 in the Twin Cities. So we said the next step that we need to do is provide a space for students to come free of charge to get help with their homework Monday through Friday. So last fall, we opened our doors, put out a sign that said free homework help, contacted some schools, and have students coming to our space from 3 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We also, at the same time, have tutors coming to our space Monday through Friday from 3 to 6, and they work one-on-one with the students. Each one of the sessions involves students reading to the tutors, so practice their reading skills, and then bringing any homework they have. So we're not creating the curriculum. Mm-hmm. The curriculum is based off of what they're already doing in school. If they don't have any homework, we know the areas that they need help with it because they come every day, that we're able to create worksheets, be able to create different skill-building activities activities to help the students. When they're finished with that, all of our sessions end with creative writing. That's what makes us a little different. And so students have a writing prompt every day, and they have a notebook, and they respond to the writing prompt with their tutor and then go back and edit it. At the end of each semester, we pull different pieces from their writing prompts and then publish a book that all the students get and that we sort of celebrate for the community. So it's sort of the extra added piece of creative writing that makes us different. But students enjoy it. We have families who came back from last year to this year who came the first day of school waiting to see if we were open because the students were so excited to come back.
Oh, that's so great. What's the age range on your students who are dropping into the space?
We say we're open for students K through 12, so we accept any students. I would say the majority of the students, I would say, are probably 3rd through 7th, 8th grade, but we have some 12th graders. We found out that there are not many places in the Twin Cities for 12th graders or high school students to get free homework help. So we've had students drive all the way from Hopkins to get our services, to have the free dedicated help. We also really strive to have our tutors be experts in a few areas. So we have a lot of students of math and science. So some of these students can't find this Algebra 2 help, pre-calculus help that isn't offered in their school, so they come to us and they work one-on-one with a tutor who really has that knowledge base to help them succeed.
That's great. How did the Hopkins people find out about you, do you think?
I'm not sure. We asked the family, I think through flyers and through our online postings. We really try to go to the schools. We're partnering with St. Paul Public Schools and with Minneapolis Public Schools to flyer and to say we're a resource to help. And this is also to all families who are listening. They're totally welcome to come to our space.
So with the younger students, do the families stay right there, or are they trying to find someplace in the neighborhood to hang out and do their own thing?
It's a mix. Some of the families stay, especially when the weather's bad and driving can be a chore. We have an area for parents to hang out with. We have a lot of parents where English is not their first language, so we have a resource area for parents to practice, to get resources for where to find help in the Twin Cities. Some of the parents see it as a good chance for 90 minutes to do errands or do pieces of their day that they really can't get done at other times, and so they drop the students off, and then the students get picked back up from them. So it's a variety.
I'd like to go back to the origins because I've been an early supporter of the work that you're doing. I knew some of the founding members, and also because I'm a huge fan of Dave Eggers. And Dave Eggers, the novelist and writer, is he the story behind 826? Or
yeah, so 826 started in San Francisco. They were publishing the magazine McSweeney's. And they had some off time. They said, we might as well tutor kids. This is all in his TED Talk, which is definitely worth watching.
Yes, Dave Eggers, Eggers, TED Talk on McSweeney.
Yep.
Or was that?
On 826.
On 826.
And so they were tutoring kids, and it was working well. They didn't know how many students were going to come, so they put the sign up that said, tutoring now available. Kids were coming in. It was going great, and the landlord said, excuse me, this is zoned for retail. So they said, what should we do? Well, we have this great relationship with the students. They looked around, they said, let's start selling something. They said, what should we sell? And they said, it looks like a pirate ship. So they said, we're gonna sell items for the working buccaneer. So they started selling things like peg leg shiner, lemons and limes to fight off scurvy, silly, ridiculous pirate-themed goods. People started buying them. Now that nonprofit, it's still there in San Francisco. 20% around roughly of what is the profits from the store support the nonprofit. So each of the 826 centers has a wacky theme, so the pirate supply store and tutoring in the back. There's the superhero store in Brooklyn. There's the time travel mart in LA, which is one of my favorites, and it's like a 7-Eleven, but the Slurpee machine is broken and it says come back yesterday and has a variety of really fun items for sale. There's the space travel store. So we were originally called Rockstar Supply Co. And that did not have the depth of some of the other themes. So we went through this big ideation process and renamed ourselves the hard title, the Mid-Continent Oceanographic Institute. Our whole idea was we want to be the Midwest's premier ocean laboratory. And so sort of going off the Jacques Cousteau theme, the 1970s water lab, we're working to rebuild our front of our store front to have an actual store, and then to have the back of the store as the tutoring area in this theme. So this is the new logo that we have.
That's very cool. And your space, the landlord of your space has let you do new awnings, is that right, with the new logo?
Yeah. So we actually repainted the awnings.
Oh, is that what you did? Okay.
And then we put on new mats in front of the window. But it's definitely, I really like the way how it looks. It looks like that water sort of has consumed half of the building. And so we were working with Knock, which is a local branding agency, and they have taken us on pro bono to do all this wonderful work. So they did all of our logos. They did somebody from Knock came to paint our awnings. They've bent over backwards and been 100% nice, and they're really helping us to redo our storefront as well. So we have plans for that.
It is kind of like a corner store in a way. It's nicely located on a very, very busy corner, right at the heart of the creative enterprise zone and the light rail. The green line goes right by there. The Raymond station is very close. But tell me a little bit more about the way it's going to look.
Yeah, so we want to have, in the front of the store, there's a very small area that we want to turn into an actual store. And in the store, we want to sell items, greeting cards, shirts, books that the students publish. That's a big piece of what 826 does, is sell the actual writing that the students do. So when they are finished with the writing, they see their writing for sale. It's such a life changer for a kid who said, "Oh, I can't write," and then you said, "What? Look, your book is for sale in the store." And also
Nice.
sell silly items as well. One of the things we brainstormed was an instant beach party here in Minnesota. It can get cold, so we said, every Minnesotan in the middle of February, where do they want to go? To the beach. So it would be a bag with some sand in it, a bottle of water, some salt packets, sort of a cute gag gift that people can know that they're going to buy for somebody, but it will support the nonprofit. And so the front of the store will have a store. And then the back of the store, there will be some sort of fun portal for students to enter, for students and tutors only, where the tutoring goes in. So the idea is that when somebody's coming off the street to buy something, they see the volunteers working one-on-one with the students, and they said, "Oh, maybe I want to become a volunteer. Maybe I want to make a difference." It's really the idea to get the whole community and neighborhood involved with making a difference in closing Minnesota's opportunity/achievement gap.
I'm really interested that you're doing the creative writing piece. What made you decide to, it certainly fits with Egger's theme. I mean, he is the quintessential creative writer. But what made you decide to go with that particular approach?
Writing skills are not necessarily taught the same way they were taught when you and I were in school. The teachers are doing a great job with writing skills, but now there's so much test taking, there's so much studying to the book that students are not getting the creative writing time that they used to get. And there have been lots of studies where this has been found out. And also, writing skills are paramount to success for no matter what job you have. So we really value writing skills, and we really think that it's a chance for students to learn about writing and to enjoy writing and to know that writing is fun. A lot of students, I taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade prior to this position, a lot of students, when you mention the word writing, start screaming. And so
Even at that age?
even at that age,
Oh my gosh.
just the purpose, the way around it, how can we make it fun? How can we say that writing can be about you and what you know? For some of the students that I taught, poetry was their breath of fresh air. They know there weren't rules that there were in other forms of writing. So the fact that they could express themselves and say, wait, I don't have to have a period, I don't have to have a comma. So that was a really great way to get reluctant writers to become writers. And so we do that every day in a variety of ways with our writing prompts. And some students say, wow, writing is really fun. And then when they see their writing go from the beginning piece to the edited, finished piece in the book, it's transformational.
I love that word transformational, but what do you mean by it? What does that look like in some of your kids?
Yeah, for a student who is new to America, who at the beginning of the year knew 5 words, to see that he has written a poem in the spring of last year, and it was published. One of them was called Kids These Days. It was a hilarious poem about kids that he wrote that really, really got to the to show that he knows the language and that he can express himself. You could just see the faces of the students when they see their work, because students can do a lot more than they think they're capable of.
It seems that way. If you're just joining us, I'm speaking with Chad Kampe of the Mid-Continent Oceanographic Institute. So one of my objections is that we talk about this achievement gap. It's certainly a huge issue. My only objection, I heard you use this opportunity gap. I really would love to see us put that emphasis on what does it mean for children to thrive? How do we help everyone succeed? I realize we need a problem statement, but it seems as though we emphasize that and spend less time on what we can do to help students. What do you think, kind of a two-part question, what do you think is creating this barrier from your perspective, and what are you seeing succeeding?
I think one of the biggest barriers is the number of students in a class. When we go into classrooms and you see a teacher have 37 students, there's no way that one person can have a meaningful relationship with all 37 students. Mm-hmm. And given that a lot of the students who fall in this opportunity gap, achievement gap, cluster our transient population, you have students coming in and out of the class at all different times. So the relationship I have with you can be started during the year and then all of a sudden a student's gone. So it's really difficult for the teacher to create that relationship. I'm a big supporter of relationships for educational success. I feel students will not be successful if there's not a relationship there. That means they need to know that their teacher, whoever the person is, cares for them, mm-hmm. and that they know they can succeed. So if there's 37 students in the class, there's no way that a teacher can really make that time. 37 kids a class, 5 periods a day that teacher has. That's a huge number of students that mm-hmm. teacher's working with. I really think that working to make class size smaller, to getting that one-on-one individual support really makes a difference. And we've seen the difference that we have made when those students get the one-on-one support mm-hmm. through the surveys, through talking to the students, that's saying, oh, there really is somebody who believes in me. And I think every student needs somebody to believe in them. And that's a big piece that we're working with Generation Next. And the Minneapolis and St. Paul are coming mm-hmm. together to really solve that issue. And one of the big high school pieces is the mentorship, that every high school student, senior, they're really working to get that one-on-one mentor for success. And I believe in that truly.
Mm-hmm. For a senior rather than
for
earlier?
Senior, yeah, I think the hard thing about the education funding world too is a lot of people think if once they're in high school and they're not successful, they're not going to be successful. We don't think that.
Okay.
That a lot of the funding is for middle school. A lot of the funding is for younger. But once they're in high school, if they haven't found the success, they're not going to graduate. So in a lot of people's eyes, they're not worth dealing with. We've seen times when we worked with the students and you're able to make them successful, that they can be successful in high school. That's why you don't see that many high school programs out there, just because the funding is so difficult to fund.
Interesting. I appreciate your giving me a perspective on it. That's great, and especially because we really need to. I have a kid who's now in college, and when she was in high school at Central, she really had a hard time understanding how many of her peers would be gone, would not graduate. She just couldn't get her head around it, and she couldn't figure out why. And it's kind of a segregated school it's stratified within different achievement zones and so forth. So she wasn't necessarily seeing what the challenges were for students who didn't have as much support as she has to accomplish things. But it's a huge issue, and we've got to get them through.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people talk about it,
mm-hmm.
but not a lot of the people, as you were saying earlier, do something about it.
Well, let's talk about the doing then, because it seems as though there are 3 areas we need to talk about that are doing and that people can concretely help with, and maybe even really quickly. So as I understand it, you want to raise tutors, you want to inform and engage parents and getting their kids there, and you need to raise some money. So you can tackle them in whichever order you want.
Yes, if I do all 3 of those today, that would be success. So first off, for parents, that they can bring their students to our space Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. We really are striving to have students come every day, because studies show the more impact they have, the more dosage they refer to it.
Dosage, I love that. Steady dose every day. A little vitamin D and a little reading help and a little creative writing.
Yeah, and then we can really track them. And the students can work with the same person every Monday, every Tuesday, and really build those relationships.
Nice.
And so we're open completely free from 3 to 6. You don't have to be a St. Paul Public School student. You don't have to be a Minneapolis Public School student. We have students come from all walks of life. We have We recently have a student who is homeschooled who has come to us just to have the chance to be around other students.
Oh, nice. A little socialization.
Right.
That's great. Yeah.
And so we really provided a chance for the students to work one-on-one with tutors. So from 3 to 6, and to get that information, they can go to our website, which is moi-msp.org.
Okay, and
Or
we'll
just
put
Google.
that up.
And so then parents can just come to us, and then we can register them there, and the students will get free homework help. And then also another piece is for teachers, we do book publishing field trips, where we bring classes to our space and go through this really fun interactive 2-hour book publishing interactive field trip. And so this is free for teachers to bring their class. We're actually booked through January, but we're still taking more bookings for the rest of the year. And every Wednesday, it's a really fun way. The class comes to the space and they hear that there's somebody trapped underneath the light rail in a submarine, and they're so bored over a walkie-talkie that they've read every book available, they've seen every movie, and it's the class's job to finish a book for them, to write a book. And so within the 2 hours, they publish a whole book. Then the person who's trapped under says, actually, I need 25 books, or how many students are there? And the students all have to finish the books themselves. And then we bind the books, and they get to go home with the books themselves.
Sweet.
It's really fun.
That sounds really great. And it is right on the Green Line, which ridership is phenomenal. So these classes can come on a visit on the Green Line, presumably.
Right, and so if it's 75 cents per child round trip within the 2 hours, the bookmaking experience is free. It's a very affordable literacy field trip.
Fabulous.
And there's so many field trips where people go on that are science, that are history, but there's not many literacy trips. So when they hit different areas of the curriculum. So we really want to be an exciting alternative for classes for field trips. And we just started last Wednesday, and the class loved it. So we're doing another one tomorrow. And so we need, so speaking on that, we need volunteers. All of these programs, our staff is very small. It's me and 2 other AmeriCorps Vistas. And so last year we served about 500 students, but we had 144 volunteers to make that happen. So we need volunteers all the time to really help us with the programming. And so we ask for a 90-minute commitment once a week. And so that can be after work, before work, during the day. We have a variety of times with our in-school partnerships. We go to a Minneapolis public school on Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9 and help kindergartners learn how to count. So that's one fun option. Or you can go into the high school at Como, or you can be part of the interactive field trip, or you can work one-on-one with students at our homework help Monday through Friday.
I'm just going to put a plug in here. My father had a career for, I don't know how many years, 60, 50 years, retired and spent his last 25 years tutoring and volunteering in the schools, and he was never a happier person. I'm convinced it gave him at least another 5 years of life. So, you know, it's an incredibly good experience. But people are afraid to volunteer, right, and to tutor. They think they're going to not know the answer.
Right, and there's a difference between a tutor and a teacher.
Yes.
A teacher goes to school for lots of years to really learn the subject matter, to know it back and forth. A tutor, you're merely a guide to help the student be successful. And we really stress to tutors, if you don't know the answer to something, it is okay. More with a room full of 30 people, because with 15 students, 15 tutors, somebody will know the answer most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's really great when students know the answer and they're able to help another student's able to help the tutor. So that's a big piece that we tell people not to be nervous, that we're there. We provide training. The St. Paul Public School Foundation, which has been an amazing partner for us. They provide funding, they provide our vistas, they help us with our tutor quality. They have extra training as well. So if you are tutoring math and you feel that's an area you need to brush up on, you can go to one of their trainings for free, and that will give you the knowledge to help you approach those subjects. So there's resources out there to make people feel less nervous.
Great. So they can contact you via the website to look at some of those slots that are available maybe for the tutoring?
Yeah, if you go on the website, there's a bar that says Get Involved.
Okay.
And you just click there, and then you can enter through an online database, and somebody will get back to you within 24 hours about volunteering.
And with the little time we have left, you also need to close the funding gap, right?
Yeah.
You've got this ambitious expansion and the rebranding. That was free, but the rebranding is with a goal to really. So what's
So we successfully received a St. Paul Star Grant So that is matching for capital campaigns. So any of the money that we're raising that we decide to use for capital campaigns will be matched dollar for dollar. So we're really excited about that piece. We set a goal of $30,826.
Ah, the 826?
The 826 part, so
okay.
that's a fun engagement piece. And we are currently around $22,000, and we have till Halloween, October 31st, to get to the goal. So we've really been counting on everybody to come in and pitch in for $25, $10. There's a variety of different perks. It's a crowdsourced campaign, so every perk you join in, you get something really cool. For $25 throughout the year, you'll get haikus written by students, 3 of them on a postcard sent to you at some random time, so that should be really fun. We have things like, for $600, I will DJ a party for people.
Oh my.
So that is...
And that's something you love to do.
Yeah, I DJ around town and have some
Okay.
fun dance nights, so I'll come to whatever party you want and I'll DJ it for you. So there's some really fun opportunities. For $10,000, there's a trip to San Francisco where you get to go to the 826 Valencia and meet the CEO.
All
No one
right.
has
Not
taken up
not
his-
Dave Eggers yet.
Not
no.
Dave. No, once we become 826, that's when hopefully
That's when
we'll come here.
We'll see Dave
Right.
come. So let's get this done, people, because I'd love to have Dave Eggers here. He has his current book, The Circle, has gotten
Yes.
huge reviews, but the one that got to me was What is the What?
Okay.
Which is an amazing book. Anyway, so they can find the Indiegogo campaign also on the website.
On our webpage, it's the first little bar.
And you have a Facebook page also.
We have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter page. We'll probably be doing Instagram soon. You can find us. Our goal is to make it really volunteering fun and exciting for people. That a lot of people, when they do some of these volunteering, it's just going over the worksheets in a dark room in the school. Our space is full of light. It's really fun and engaging.
Oh, it's such a beautiful space, yeah. We're so happy that you picked that corner. It's just a beautiful corner, and it's so great to see it engaged with young people. I see the kids on the streets from a couple of the different charter schools coming your way, and it's inspiring to see them in the neighborhood. There's some great kids there.
Yeah, Avalon, which is behind us, they use us when they're giving tours to people saying, hey, MOI is around the corner, and you can go there after school for homework help.
Yeah,
So
we're becoming it's a huge plus for those.
Community.
It's very much of a community environment, and we just consider them such great anchors for the enterprise zone, so that's great. I read a great little piece by Jay saying that the kid who came to him thought he didn't know the answer, and he'd already kind of given up. I just loved what happened in that exchange. Can you summarize that just briefly? You know what I'm speaking of?
Yeah. I'm trying to recall.
Well, what he really said was the kid didn't think he knew the answer. And all Jay said was, but I think you do.
Right.
And I just loved that, just to go back to the heart of the relationship, which is really what I think makes this so special and what I think is so great for people who volunteer and get involved, is that in fact, the kid did know the answer, and all he needed was to see someone else believe in him so he could believe in himself. And that process seems to me to be at the heart of what you all seem to know what to do.
Yeah, no, we really tell our tutors that to work with a student, that there's something in every student. And as a teacher, as a person, you believe that there's great in every child you see.
Absolutely.
And so we really embrace that here. And I think that with the community helping to solve these answers, that we can really make a difference in the Twin Cities and have that impact that a lot of other organizations, when they talk about the achievement gap or the opportunity gap, it's more the policy level and not the doing level.
Not the doing, yeah.
And so you say, hey, come, do something.
Come and do something. And really, I'd say absolutely. I'm a donor. I'll confess that. I've been involved a little bit, and I think it's a great.
Thank you.
They would love that. Yeah. Well, and so I hope people will consider the 3 things. Parents, get your kids there. Get some more volunteering. Take the opportunity, take the risk to volunteer, and you'll enjoy it. And then, if nothing else, write a check. So. Thanks for joining us. That's all we have time for. Come back again next week for the SPNN Forum.